YouTubers who are watching us online today, and to all of you, sorry, because now we're on live class. And so today we're going to talk about writing. Last week I told you today was the first writing class, and what we're going to do here in the live class is give you an introduction to what is expected from you in the writing skills for B2 level, and also how to do an essay. So the clues and tips of how to write an essay for the exam. So, on the writing skills of the B2 candidates, students should be able to express opinions, give reasons, and should be able to write informal letters or email expressing thanks, congratulations, etc. You can also present arguments, although limitations could be in your vocabulary and grammar, as that may cause some problems. You can write simple reports and advise, evaluate, and suggest. And your writing may lack organization, coherence, and cohesion at times, and your registration may not always be appropriate or consistent. But generally, you should be able to communicate your message and have a satisfactory effect on the target. So that is what is expected from you on a B2 level, okay? Should be able to write arguments, to write opinions, to write a congratulation letter, an email, or whatever you want to write. You may have problems, but you should be able to express the opinion you were trying to go to. So, the instruction of the exam is the following. Okay? There's one. Today we're going to talk about the task type question 1, which is focusing on writing an essay. Okay? The focus could be on agreeing or disagreeing with a statement. If you don't know what a statement is, and a statement is it's your opinion stated in a phrase, giving information, giving opinions, yes, giving reasons, comparing and contrasting ideas or opinion, and drawing a conclusion. So that is what the focus is on the essay. Okay. The format is the next. You are required to deal with an input of at least 120 words. It will usually be between 140 and 190 words. And there will be an opening rubric to set the scene, and then an essay question with 2 given prompts. What are the 2 given prompts? Wait. There will be a question which you will have to follow. We will see an example right now after this. And in that question, you will have another 2 prompts that you will have to mention while you're writing your essay. And then 1 prompt that you will have to add yourself, your own idea. Okay? It's a compulsory task. And like I said before, the length is from 140 to 190 words. And now we're going to see a real format of an exam here. So this is what a type of exam would be. There will be the first paragraph saying that in your English class, you have to be able to talk about the environment. Now your English teacher has asked you to write an essay, for example. Write an essay using the notes, give reasons for your point of view. So, the question. Every country in the world has problems with pollution and damage to the environment. Do you think these problems can be solved? That is the real question of the essay. You will have to base your essay in that question. So all the ideas you give have to be responding to the question you see here below. Okay? Notes. When it says notes, it's for you to write notes there. Okay? Don't write notes you're not going to use after in the writing. It's very important. Again, when I was talking before about the prompts, what I mean about the prompts is things over here that say 1, 2, and 3. Those are the prompts. So even though the question is, do you think these problems can be solved? There are 3 prompts. 1 is transport, 2 is representatives, and the 3rd one is one you choose by yourself, anything you want. So what does that mean? You will have to answer to the question above, But you will have to mention at least one time a situation that, well, transport is relevant to the environment, and another one which represents is related to the environment and the problems we have with it, and then one of your own, for example, farm animals, the way we eat nowadays, for example, an idea. Okay, so that is the real format of the exam for the first certificate. That is what you will find when you do the exam on an essay. Now we're going to go back. When you're writing your exam, there are 4 evaluation criteria. Or 3, okay. The first one is the content. The content has to be relevant, and the target reader has to be fully informed. So, if it's not relevant to the question, if you're not communicating your idea right, you will have a negative point. Second, communicative achievement. The use of the conventions of the essay format to hold the target reader's attention, register, and complex ideas. What does that mean? Well, 140 to 190 words is not much, but in those words you have to keep the attention of the reader in your essay, and you will have to register your ideas in a very comprehensive way, okay? The third one is the organization. It has to be correct, cohesive, coherent organization of the text, and the coherent use of variety of cohesive devices, grammatical structures, rather than obvious linkers. So, what does that mean? Well, it has to be cohesive with what we write. It has to be an organization, like make a scale in your head of what you want to write down in the essay. Okay, that is very important. If you organize before then writing what you want to say and which order you want to say things, and think about the order you're going to say things, because that can change the whole essay. The fourth is the language. You need to have a wide range of vocabulary, including less common lexis, but used appropriately, and the range of correctly grammatical forms, and errors that don't impede communication. What does that mean? You need to have vocabulary of the questions you're asked. How do we get that? We have talked about this before. Reading magazines, reading books, reading the newspaper. Most of the questions you will find in the essays are about current issues. So reading magazines, newspapers, watching television, watching news about these issues, and trying to understand what they're saying is the most important thing. Okay? That's the way you're going to get like vocabulary to write these things down. So now, what we're going to see is a good essay. This is an essay that is really good. So it's talking about the questions we saw before, environment, and I'm going to give you like 2 minutes or 3 minutes if you want to read a bit about it, okay? So you can continue reading. This essay you find here is a perfect example of what an essay for B2 level should be. This is an essay that is correct in all the grammatical forms, has coherence in the issues that is saying and telling about, okay? And it's interesting. It's relevant to the question it was asked, making good points. It's not very complicated. It doesn't have complicated vocabulary. It's just very correct, and this is a really high valued essay. So I hope you had time to at least read a bit and see what you're expected to do. If you want this in the future, I can pass it to you so you can check. And okay, for the end of this live class for YouTube, for you guys on YouTube, we're going to give you some tips of how to write an essay. What you should think about when you're writing an essay. The first thing you should think about, for example, is that it's important that you keep the focus on the topic. That is the most important thing. Don't go over the branches. Keep focus on what the question is asked at the beginning, okay? Keep focus on the topic in the questions, and that all their ideas and your opinions are relevant to the question. Very important. Don't try to take the question and change it into something you like better. Try to make the best thing you can do with that question. You should be able to support an opinion with reasons and examples. Think about this. You need to put reasons and examples in your essay. Okay? It's another skill required when you're writing an effective essay. Third thing, the development of the essay has to be smooth and easy to follow. Again, we're not asking you to do a very, very highly complicated essay. We're asking you to do a comprehensive and cohesive essay that will be easy to follow. So, varying the length of sentences using direct and indirect questions and using a variety of structures and vocabulary. That is another very important thing. Use different vocabulary, use different structures, use different time, okay? And another thing, to produce a successful essay, candidates need to be familiar with a range of different structures, which can be used when comparing, contrasting, agreeing, disagreeing, explaining, informing, giving opinions with reasons or examples. Okay, different ways of opening a discourse and reaching a conclusion should also be explored and practiced. You should think about how you're going to start your essay, how you're going to finish your essay. It's very important. Practice at home. How could you start this? How could you finish this? That is basically it for today. So this is my tips and what I think you should know before going to write an essay for the first certificate. And that's it. I'll see you guys in 3 minutes in our private class, okay? Bye, YouTube watchers.
Bye.
Bye.